Welcome to the Story Truth Mine. I am Cade, and this is my Booktube Newbie Tag. Why did you start this channel? During the COVID pandemic, I finished rereading Imager by L.E. Modesett Jr., and I felt the familiar urge to dwell in that imaginary world for just a little while longer. But this time, I ran a YouTube search. There were a few videos, none perfectly scratched my individual itch. But since then, every time I've finished a book, I've searched it, and that's led me to many delightful videos, including some that invited me to share my own thoughts. That planted a brainworm which has grown and grown until it finally consumed me. What are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? Despite valuing them, I won't be doing any TBRs, book hauls, wrap-ups, reading vlogs, recommendations, spoiler-free videos, tag videos, or even full post-reading reviews. Instead, I'll exclusively be making what I'm going to call story truth mining videos. You see, I believe in the radical idea that truth resides within stories. When I've fallen into a book, when I'm experiencing a character's thoughts and feelings and senses as though they were my own, I don't believe that's some mere trick of human consciousness. I believe that the stories feel real because on some level they are. I believe that stories carry within them truths about human beings, about our relationships with one another, and about the societies that we live in. And I'm going to make it this channel's mission to extract at least one of those truths from every story that I read. What are you most excited about for this new channel? Unfortunately, my memory of books fails all too often. And so what I'm hoping is that by making these videos, by sort of developing the thoughts that I have about the books, I'll be able to go back anytime and jog my memory, both of what I took away from the books and of the books and the worlds themselves. Why do you love reading? I've touched on this already, but it's that feeling of falling into a story. It's deeper for me with reading than it is with stories told around the campfire, or movies, or songs, or video games, or any other form of storytelling. What book or series got you into reading? I've been reading for as long as I can remember. My mom read children's books to my twin sister and I, and one day she saw us reading back and forth to each other. At first she thought that we'd memorized the words and were just saying them back and forth, but pretty soon she realized that we were actually reading, and we've never stopped. My favorite children's book is The Three Billy Goats Gruff, so maybe that's that first book that my mom saw my twin sister and I reading back and forth to each other. What question would you ask your favorite booktuber? One of my favorite booktubers is Better Than Food, and that's despite the fact that I don't read the classics that he reviews. And if I had to ask him one thing, it would be how it is that he gets people like me who haven't read, don't intend to read, the stories that he's talking about, to watch his full reviews. Part of why I'd like to know that is just, so I could know more about what it is within myself that draws me to those videos. But the other part is that if that capacity can be replicated, that will let more booktubers do videos like his that are full in-depth reading reviews that I think would really scratch the itch that caused me to, Google all the books that I'd read. And that's my dream, that whenever we search a book after reading it, we'll be able to find a video or a whole page of videos of people's thoughts about the books that we just read, so that we can experience the worlds that we love for a little bit longer, and also think about the ramifications of those stories. What challenges in starting a booktube channel do you think will be hardest to overcome? I'm constantly tripping over my words and umming and liking a lot. So I'm just doing lots of takes right now, and I'm gonna edit out most of the mistakes And I think just that time-consuming nature of those edits will be a major obstacle at the beginning. When did you start reading? I feel like I've already answered this one. Early childhood. Where do you read? I read in my bed and my hammock, but most of all, I read in the bathtub. And baths work some strange form of alchemy on me. They make me extremely sleepy. So if I lay down in a bathtub and I close my eyes, I'm liable to wake up a couple hours later in a cold room temperature bathtub. But if I read a book, I can always stay awake. And if I do it just right, if I finish the book in the bathtub, I can dry off, go to my bed, go to sleep, and if I'm lucky, I'll be in the imaginary world of that book all night long. What kind of books do you like to read? I read a wide variety of science fiction and fantasy, everything from classic dystopias like The Giver to more modern YA-focused dystopias like Divergent or The Hunger Games, to post-apocalyptic novels, to military science fiction, to space operas, to more conventional fantasy novels set in a world that's not our own, to urban fantasies, where magic's brought into a world that resembles our own, but really just anything science fiction and fantasy. So can I see an example of these story truth mining videos that you keep going on about? Absolutely. I believe that we can mine story truths from all fiction novels, but it actually comes most naturally to us with children's books. We're taught to look for the morals of the story in those. So I've mined a story truth from my favorite children's novel, The Three Billy Goats Gruff, and you can watch that right here. I hope you've enjoyed your time in the Story Truth Mine. You are welcome back anytime.